Are we live? Why? Why do I always start the podcast, everyone, with that? Are we live? We are. Welcome to the Skinny Jean Gardener podcast. It's the podcast of the century, basically. The number one gardening phone-in, which tonight is not a phone-in. Do not phone in tonight because it's the show that everyone's been waiting for. It's the RHS Chelsea big review. My opinions on exactly what I saw at the RHS Chelsea press day coming up today on the show. Is it worth it? That's the big question. Is it worth, I think, 83 quid a ticket? Is it worth it? Find out later on the show. Also, sad news, everyone. Former guest of the show, John Chellis, Boise. I won't do the laugh. Sadly passed last week. And so we're going to a little tribute to him later on the show. And everyone, new to the show, but not new to the show, but new feature to the show, Ask Olive. That's right. Each week, we're going to ask Olive, my daughter, a different gardening question. So that's coming up later on the show. So watch out for that as well. I must say, before we really get into it, thanks to our sponsors, bestdaysvintage.co.uk, works-uk.com, and the School Garden Success Plan, all supporting the podcast. Thank you very much to you. But without further ado, I just love rhyming. I'm like Eminem. Let's hit this. You're beaming positivity and radiance. You look amazing, mate. What just happened? Hey, mate. Or, right, I love singing, all right? So I could be a singer, you could be a backing dancer, band. Oh, my God. Oh, I know this. Oh, guys. Right. Oh, my God. Oh, right. We're just going to have to go off script for a second. Absolutely idiot-proof. Oh my gosh, Danny! Forget it. Get out of here. That was unexpected. This is Lee Connolly on the world, not just the UK, the world's favourite gardening phone-in podcast. This week we're talking RHS Chelsea. Is it really worth it? That's the question. Lee looks at some of the gardens, gives his opinion, and tells you what he really thinks here in the UK. Every last second there of someone playing the piano or whatever that instrument was. Welcome to the RHS big review. Not the RHS, the RHS Chelsea Flower Show big review. I'm your host, Lee Connolly. What's going on, everyone? Let me know in the comments tonight, right? Let me know in the comments, because I know a lot of people will have opinions. I'll be watching the comments. I know it's not exactly live, but I'll be watching the comments and seeing what everyone's saying of your opinions of what you've seen of the coverage of RHS Chelsea. One of the handy things of doing this show is for some reason the BBC, they're greedy and they said don't take any footage of anything, right? Don't take any footage of Chelsea. We want it, which means that I on the podcast can tell you exactly what I think here in the coziness of the Shedio. Everyone, I'll be taking you for a little bit of a walk around of the show over the next hour. So I hope you enjoy it. If you don't, well, thanks anyway. 5-star review only if you listen to the podcast. Thanks so much to you that listen. Thanks so much to you that watch. Right, let's get into it because I've got a lot to get through in the next hour. Let's see how we got on. Firstly, wow, what a day. I went to RHS Press Day on a Monday. Firstly, big up the team there. What a privilege to be able to walk onto the showground on Press Day with the celebs and me. It was an amazing day. I've got to say, without a doubt, thanks BBC for not making me have to do all that videoing and vlogging stuff, because I really just enjoyed it. I took the missus with me, and we just had a lovely day. It was a lovely day walking around the showground, cup of tea in hand, sun a-blazing. Yes, please. Such a great day. Firstly, although I almost didn't get in. I know, right? I did say, thanks. Sam got in. My wife got in. Easy. So straight in. Green carded, I think they said. Red carded me. Not actually on this day. I was like, well, how can I be amazing? I've said this before about the teams that bring together these shows. 5 minutes, it was sorted. Geezer, really friendly on the gates about it as well. As if you're sneaking in, still friendly. Texted them, and I instantly got in. They said, yeah, that's fine, all through. So big up the team. Very swift action there. But thanks so much to them for having us for the press day. Like I say, it was a privilege to be there. So we walked straight in, and not straight in after that. Walked down, and then we walked, I think it's called like Main Avenue. I'm not 100% sure if that's what it's called. One of either way. But we walked down, through past the shop bits, which are fantastic, don't get me wrong. Then we turned right, and then we walked straight down. So you've got the big marquee, the floral marquee on your left, and all them gardens straight down. And straight through to the Sanctuary Gardens. Now, we're going to get into... We've got the positivity bell here this week. Just in case I get too negative, because it's very easy. Like, I understand the hard work that goes into these gardens. I'm here to be a bit of a critic about it, but I do realise as well at the same time, the people that have built these gardens, a lot of work have gone into them, and some geezer in his shed saying, hey, didn't like it. It's a bit like, where are you? This is just my own opinion, yeah? So if you're watching on the show tonight, you're lucky. If you're not watching, then don't worry about it. It's fine, because you'll actually visually be able to see what I'm talking about. Firstly, we hit the Sanctuary Gardens, right? Now, the first one I come along to was this one. And it's called the Bible Society. No, nothing. No, I didn't mean it in that way. The Bible Society Palm 23 Garden. Full of massive boulders. Now, just in, you got a gold medal. As a garden, right? A lot of boulders, a lot of dry walls, a lot of water. It didn't work for me. I don't know why, but I feel like I go to Chelsea to sort of get a bit of a inspiration, and nothing from this garden inspired me. Don't get me wrong, as a garden, there's something that was built in a month for a show for a week and then is dismantled 2 weeks later. Impressive. Don't get me wrong. Maybe it did deserve a gold medal for that very reason. But it didn't exactly inspire me massively. I don't know what it was. Maybe not enough planting. Maybe the boulders were a bit off. I saw on social media people talking about, well, what is the eco? I'm not going to get into it today. Maybe we'll talk about it another time. The eco friendliness of bringing these boulders from, I don't know where these boulders were from, but maybe someone from Scotland. I don't know. Did it say on there? I don't know. And I'm not going to get into the meaning of the gardens too much, because I really am looking at them as they are. Because, you know, there's stories behind each of these gardens, which is amazing, but I'm really looking at them. And that was the first one I come across on these gardens. And, you know, there was a couple of them like that throughout the showground, which I just felt like were just a bit too much. Just a bit, I don't know, great in their own sense. Like I remember a few years ago when we had that boat. Remember the boat, the canal thing? which was amazing. I think, was it Mark Gregory that did it? Amazing in its own right, but just, not really a garden. Do you know what I mean? Walking across from that, though, now I'm going to really pronounce this wrong. The Finnish, from Finland, Soul Garden. Now, this really cheered me up. And I'll tell you what, for why. Yes, there was a big boulder in it, yeah. Had a lovely little seating area, which I like. Planted up, nice little patio area, nothing too fancy, but lovely planting around it. A lot of trees, a lot of greenery, bit of colour. The masterpiece of this garden was the sauna. Now, this sauna had the illusion, it's on a decking, it had the illusion, and it could have been, but I don't think it was, that it was on top of water. There's a little bit of a pond in front of it, which went underneath the decking, which made this sauna look like it was floating on water. And I thought, not as a sauna, apart from my brother, he thinks he's going to get a sauna in his new place, but we're in a new world of outdoor offices or indoor, like working from home. Maybe not as a sauna, but as an outdoor office. We do, and I've seen this before already. We're putting up these sheds in our back gardens, these buildings that sit there in the corner. Tuck it out of the way. Really makes it part of the garden, makes it something special. It really inspired me, and that's why I love this one. It got a silver gilt medal. I don't think that's as good as gold. Obviously not. But I think it deserved more. The union, what is it called? Accordion player. Did it for me as well. He was loving life on Monday. I don't know if he's there a week, but really great garden. And that got me started. That got me started into the RHS show, Chelsea. I knew that we were going to get a little bit of inspiration from it, and we carried on walking. And then I bumped into, and he's not been on the show before, Ed Burnham, right? With finding our way an NHS tribute garden. Now, firstly, this obviously stood out because my wife's a nurse, and so she obviously really likes this garden for that reason. But what it's got is an amazing pergola area, very smooth off wood, which is also a water feature. It's very special. A lot of hard landscaping, but the most colourful planting out of the whole show garden. Out of the whole show, this garden had the most colour amongst it. Beautiful colour. Lots of wild, I really feel we're going wild with the planting nowadays. Really looking good. And I saw everyone. I walked over and everyone was sitting on the side of it, taking photos. And I was like, well, that's the worst place to take a photo. Come around the end, get a shot right through that pergola. Maybe I'm using the word pergola in the wrong way. I don't know, but I loved it. It really gave me a sense of what I'd like to do with my own spaces that I've got, and that water feature element just added to it. They could have not put that water feature element in, but they did. Don't get me wrong. I can imagine it cost an absolute fortune for this pergola. For some Essex guy to come along and call it a pergola is probably not what they expected. But really amazing garden. And I've just seen it's got a silver medal this year. I don't know. I don't think it should have got a silver, but that's just me. That's just what I think. But again, just loads of water in there. A little pond at the end as well. That water feature runs the whole route around, and I've only just realised that from this looking at the photos on the show tonight. But you're getting around the gardens. I miss some little features, guys. But I love that one. I love it. I'm gonna do my top 5 later. Can you guess? Can you guess what goes into the top 5? I love this one. I love it so much. And though as a starter of gardens, I liked it. It was good. It was really good. But then we moved on to the controversial balcony gardens. I'll tell you more after this. Let me interrupt this amazing podcast by saying thank you to one of our sponsors. Works-uk.com have got you covered out in the garden. I don't know about you, but after a hard week at work, I want to get amongst the plants, get my hands in the soil, and really get gardening over the weekend. And one of the things that, can be a bit of a chore is cutting the grass. That's the first thing you're going to have to do on a Saturday. Well, not anymore with the help of works-uk.com with their incredible Landroid. You know me, I talk about it all the time. I think robotics in the garden really going to help us get rid of those chores so we can do the fun stuff. And the Landroid from works-uk.com is the perfect thing to do that. It's really simple to use. It's plug and play, which means you just press go and away it mows. It's Gardener's World Magazine Best Buy, and it's all controlled through the app. The robot will do all of the work by going out in the garden and cutting your lawn for you. And all those tiny little clippings, that's right, no more chucking the grass into the brown bin, wheeling it down into the driveway so they can go and pick it up. No, no, no. The robot literally cuts the grass throughout the week with the tiniest of clippings, which acts as a natural fertilizer. It doesn't get much better than that. They've also got a range of amazing garden tools to make your life easier and DIY tools too, all battery operated. So it's worth checking out works-uk.com right now for your next garden or DIY job. Big up to Works because at Malvern this week, guys. I've been at Chelsea at the start of the week, Malvern at the end of the week. It's a busy September. Glee the other week without Works doing my garden for me. It would look an absolute state. So big up to them. Right, let's get it back into this big RHS Chelsea garden review. 0742 357 4520. Not working tonight because we're not actually live, but if you want to comment, then please do. We are usually live on Thursdays at 7 p.m. See you next week for that little phone in. Calm down, Beddos. Calm down. Let's get into these controversial. Now, maybe you've seen them. Maybe you think actually they're not that controversial. It's just some balconies, and I'll let you be right. Whack in the comments while I'm talking about this. What you think? I'll let you be the judge. But firstly, it's the positivity bell. Firstly, yes. Amazing to see small space gardening. Balconies are great. This first one that I'm looking at is called Balcony of Blooms. Probably my favourite one out of the whole lot of balcony gardens. And it's got a lot of raised beds around the whole of the outside of the railings. Okay. Really fantastic. And then loads of planting. And then in the middle, you've got your seating area. And you can imagine popping out the back doors, sitting down, being amongst the plants, not being able to look down at the traffic or whatever's down below. A lot of privacy and being able to look at the sky. It's exactly what you want. Almost as if you're not on a balcony. Really great. I'd say, did these get... I don't think... Alexandra Noble, big up to you. Did these not get judged then? Maybe they didn't. Now, that was a great one. But does anyone spot some issues with this? If you're going to Chelsea and you see this, message me and let me know. Because I think this is great. But calling it balcony gardens is it feels a little bit off. Do you not think? It feels a bit... Because it's 4 meters long, about 1.5 meters in, and there's trees. If you're on a balcony, you don't have these big trees there, are you? Because you're going to have someone else above you. And the trees sort of hit the bottom. And also, in London, the type of balconies you're getting are probably about 1 meter by 1 meter. A little bit like the garden that I'm building out the back of the Shedio here. Not a 4 meter by 1.5 meters. It's quite a long. I'm looking at about a £5 million home right there for a balcony of that size. It is Chelsea. I hear what you're saying. But it just felt, I don't know, a little bit. Maybe it should be renamed as small space gardening. I'm not sure. But that one was a good one. The Arcadia one was good. Again, it had a little pagoda, which you probably wouldn't have if you've got a home above you. And what was the other one? Green Sky Pocket Garden. Really fantastic as a garden. It wasn't a balcony garden. I'm sorry. It was a small space garden. But it went in the balcony one. And I'll tell you why I don't think it really should have been a balcony one. One is, again, because of the trees, the weight of the pots, and also they planted in the floor. You wouldn't plant in a balcony floor, would you? James Smith, coming for you. Beautiful design, small space, but you wouldn't plant in the floor unless it was a £10 million place, and maybe they'll let you. I don't know. But I really did like, don't get me wrong, there's some great space-saving ideas amongst all of that. And they're really worth checking out. And that's down that main bit. On the opposite side of them gardens, you know, is the incredible stands that are always there. And they are amazing, the setup they do next to the floor marquee. But if you carry on your way down there, what you also see, I don't know if there's a picture. There won't be a picture on here, I don't think. But what you also see is an art piece at the end of the balcony gardens, a really fantastic art piece of a transit van, which has basically been laser cut out into planting. It is special. It's very much like the aeroplane at Hampton Court. That was an art piece. That's Chelsea. They didn't want to push it too far. I put an airplane outside the Royal Hospital for the guys in red. To Chelsea pensioners. That's it. Thank you. A transit van, laser scale. There's some meaning behind. We're not going to get to the meaning of it on the show, but it was special. I liked it. It stood out. It was really great. So as you come down, them first ones, the sanctuary gardens, you get a few little ideas. Some of them are a little bit off for me. And again, the balcony gardens, really fantastic concept. But I think, what we said was, we'd like to see some council balcony gardens. That's what I want to see. That's really what I want to see out there, everyone. But that's just me. I'll tell you one thing, right? It felt accessible. I feel like, I've talked on the podcast before about possibly doing or wanting to do an RHS show garden, especially Chelsea. I can imagine doing a council. I have to say it like that. That's what I'd name it. A council balcony garden. If they do a balcony garden next year at Chelsea, I'm going to have a look this week. Got enough on tonight, but a look this week to see if we can get that done. That's what I want to do. Walk your way round the showground as we're going round that floor marquee, all the way around in a circle, past the food bit. We didn't get any food. Mainly, I was hungry. I had a lovely breakfast beforehand. Lovely. A little bit of velvet cake, £4. Well, it was good velvet cake and a cuppa. But carry on walking your way all the way round past the posh restaurant bit there, and you will hit the features area of the show. There was a few other gardens, but I won't go into them. The feature area. Now, let me show you this. That's the positivity belt. I was disappointed with this, if I'm totally honest with you. And let me try and find it, because this was supposed to represent. It was called the RHS Queen's Green Canopy Garden. I think. Was it called that? It comes up on screen. Yeah, the Queen's Canopy Garden. This is meant to celebrate the Queen's going to plant like 1 billion trees or something like that. I think Mr. Beast has already beat her to it, but she saw that as a YouTube hit and decided, I don't know if that's true. Anyway, the Queen's doing this thing where she wants everyone to plant a tree for a Jubilee. And the RHS have come up with a feature garden for that. If I'm honest with you, if Dame Judi Dench weren't cutting the ribbon there. There weren't a load of cameras about. It's on like the island part. I could have just walked straight through it and not known it was a feature garden. It was. Don't get me wrong. It's been designed. Who designed it? David Dodd. Don't get me wrong. It was nice. I wouldn't have known it was a garden. I would have thought it was a feature. Oh, it was a feature. I don't know. I felt like we could have done a bit more with that. I feel like it could have been a bit. I don't know. I mean, the Queen couldn't even bother to turn up and look at it. She sent the C team in to come and check out Chelsea, apparently. But I don't know. I was not impressed. I'm sorry, guys. I was not feeling it. But don't be deterred by that, because something that I didn't want to like but did like was the BBC One show, and that's the bit I thought it's a TV thing. I thought it's going to be naff, isn't it? The BBC One show and RHS Garden of Hope. It's up there. Could be on the top 5. Not going to say where or who, whether it will. Designed by Ara Anderson. This is special. This really stood out to me. The sculpture, for starters, and I don't know if it's on iPlayer, but I'm sure there was a film about how they put this together. Go check it out because it's great. But the sculpture is incredible. It weaves its way around the whole garden. It's seating. It's part of the bridge. There's a little bridge that goes over a nice little pond. It's a little. I'm not going to tell you what it is. There's a little secret under the pond. If you're going to go and check it out, there's a little secret under there. I loved it. I really loved it. The paving was incredible. The way that the planting weaved in and out of it. It went between gravel and paving and planting. The pond was majestic. Is that a word? The little bridge was lovely. The way that wood weaved throughout the garden. I loved it so much. I'm going to put it out there. Last year, they had the... Was it... I can't remember what it was called now. The RHS Wild one. Remember that? The Duke of something, Duchess, Duchess. You know what I'm trying to say. That was in the same place. Not sure. I think I'm liking this one a bit more. I don't know. I really like this. I really did. Definitely worth it. I reckon it's going to be busy. If you're going to the show, I reckon it's going to be busy to get into this one. It's pretty... it's not the most accessible. I think there's only one way in. I might be wrong, but I think there's only one way into this one. But it's really good. I really loved it. Well done, Eric. Like, it's just so nice, Eric. I think I've talked about it on the podcast before. But I sat down and had dinner with her once. Not just us two, it was a load of us. But she was such a kind and nice person. But amazing design. Just something different. This is what I was looking for. That spark of inspiration of what maybe you couldn't do totally yourself, but there's ideas in there. Could have just put a pond in the middle, a little bridge over it. Could have just put some normal handbags. But the way that the whole thing weaved together, connected it. I love that. I really did. So that made up for the feature garden. Thanks, RHS. I really liked it. It was really good. And then we come around, everyone. Then we come around to the main gardens. Now, you know, I think the main gardens are lucky because they've got a massive tree line behind them, which sort of really does help them. This year, like I said earlier, with that sanctuary garden, the NHS garden, a lot of colour. This year on their main gardens that go all the way up, very green. Very, very green. I'm looking on there because we're on the show. If you listen on the podcast, thanks. But on the show, I've luckily got them on the screen. Luckily, I do for these ones. Because some of them, like the Finding Our Way, obviously remembered it. The Finnish Shoal one with the sauna, I remembered it. I can't massively remember these ones. There's a couple that I'm going to go through in a sec, but the Bodmin Jail one, I'm really sorry, I can't remember it. So I apologise. Then we've got the China one. It was nice. Planting wise, I think was that the China one that had the most water in a garden? I think. I don't know. I don't know about that one. Great structures in it. They were a little bit cool. I like the idea of that. That's really great. But I don't know. Let me just have a look at this quick. What's that badge mean? I think it got gold. I like the structures in it. They were inspiring. I'm just not sure. There's a lot of green amongst it. It got best show garden. Wow, there was only about 5 or 6 show gardens. I think that was the one with all the water. There's a lot of water amongst that. But just a lot of green. Like, if you look at it, just a lot of... I know it's a garden, but I just feel... Maybe it's the time of year we've got. There's a lot more colour in May when the show's usually on. The big block of green. Just... If them structures weren't there, then... I don't know, team. As we walk on down, this one really did. Now, again, NHS, nursing, all of that thing. You know, we've got to give it up to the NHS for the last year and a half and still going strong. You know, we need them, lives to crack on with looking after us. Do you know what I mean? But one of the most famous, what an awful way to go into this one. One of the most famous nurses has to be at the Florence Nightingale Garden. A celebration, everyone. The Florence Nightingale Garden. And out of all the show gardens this year, this has to be my favourite. A celebration of modern day nursing. Now, don't get me wrong. Maybe a little bit too much paving. That's my only critique of it. The planting was great. Maybe having that paving actually was a good idea because it wasn't just a block of green. The biggest thing, and again, you're not going to like me calling it a pergola, but that's basically what it is. The whole site, and hopefully this garden moves. I don't know if this is moving to another place. I'd love to know it if it is, and whether they're going to. I'm sure they will put it somewhere around the country, another hospital. But the structures that were over the garden, the pergolas that are over the garden, just showed it. I don't know how to describe them. I feel like I describe them like flat pack furniture. I don't know. Remember them dinosaurs you get, which you sort of put them together and they're out of cardboard and you pick them out of the cardboard and then you put it together. It's sort of like that. And I'm sure no one come to them and said that at the time. It really inspired me. Again, I don't want to call it a pergola, but it's just a different way of creating a shelter, a shade. And out of all the show gardens this year, this has to be my favourite. What did it get? A silver medal. That is a joke, man. That is a joke. Robert Myers designed this. Robert, you've been robbed. Silver medal. This deserved gold in my eyes. Honestly, what a garden. What a garden. Come on. I don't know what their criteria are, but I'm looking at all the gardens. What are the other show gardens getting? Let me have a quick look. So that one got silver. That got a gold. The China, all right. What else? The Bodmin Jail got a silver. Wasn't impressed with that one. What else are the other ones? Where are the other show gardens on here? Bear with me, dear listener. The M&G garden got a gold. What? I mean, why am I surprised? The M&G is the main sponsor of the show. I think they get a gold every year. Imagine if they got a bronze. Their gold medal, Harrisburg Studio. It wasn't for me, if I'm honest with you. You know, the few years ago, I was like, oh, it's not really a garden. Remember that one that was like sandy and the big things? At least I remember that one. This one had water pipes around it. I don't really understand the meaning behind it. I'm not reading into it. You shouldn't have to read into it. Probably about saving water or something. I didn't get it. I wasn't a fan of it. All right. I wasn't even a fan of the planting, if I'm totally honest with you. But these big pipes just made no sense. They weaved, but they had no real purpose. And a gold. I don't know what the criteria of RHS are, but yeah. So up to you, innit? It's up to you guys. I don't know. Well, there we go. Halfway through the show, and I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. I'm looking good, sure, and feeling better, all because of bestdaysvintage.co.uk. They have the best vintage clothing to make you look amazing in the garden or even when you pop uptown. That's right. If you sign up to their website right now on bestdaysvintage.co.uk, not only do you get 15% off. You also get a weekly well-being email, which will make you giggle, maybe a few little interviews amongst there too, and also make you think about your mental health. They've recently just launched a new counselling area at their flagship store and also offer free Thursday morning group sessions. So you can come along and just let it all out. Not all of it out, but you know, have a little chat. It really does help. bestdaysvintage.co.uk. Look good, feel better. Head over there right now for that 15% off and that weekly email. Big up to our supporters. If you want to support the podcast, you can from January 2022. Get in contact, lee@skinnyjeangarden.co.uk. Now, let's just slow things down a little bit because something come up last week that really got to me. I didn't want to do a whole podcast on this because it felt a little bit, clickbaity. I didn't want to do that, but I did want to mention it and do just a little bit of a tribute. I don't know. Sure, this will help. Boise, John Chalice. He was on the show a good few years ago, and I met him at Tatham. I was really nervous. It was quite early days of the podcast. And, you know, we'd had some people on, but, you know, Boise, innit? I was really nervous. I spent a week at Tatton and spent the first 3 days being scared to go and speak to him. And when I did, he was the nicest guy ever. And I wanted today to put him on the show once more. And so I know we've got new listeners to this podcast. Thanks very much for joining us. And some of you old listeners would have heard this before as well. But I thought we would replay the interview. It's about 10 minutes long. So I hope you don't mind. But yeah. Chat. The garden chit chat. Cha. The garden chit.
So, John, thank you for coming on the podcast.
It's a pleasure.
I wanted to talk about your garden because you're at quite a few garden shows this year, and I don't think many people would think that you're a gardener.
No, I suppose I wouldn't. I sort of got interested in gardening. The first time I had a garden, a bit of a garden in Battersea in London, and I sort of started trying to grow things, not very successfully, of course. But then if I had a patch of ground, I'd try and go and I got an allotment, tried to grow some vegetables. But then I got terribly busy, so then I couldn't do enough on the allotment. And then I strangely opened a garden centre with some ageing reprobates in southwest London where I was living, because there was a lot of gaps between acting jobs as usual. So wanted to do something else. I opened a garden centre, so sort of started learning quite a lot of things about it, and became fascinated by it. And then when I got my own garden in London, quite a big garden actually. I had a ground floor flat, but quite a big garden. And I started sort of experimenting with stuff, and some of it was very successful, and some of it was a hopeless failure. And then I met my wife, Carol, and we found we had a nice, decent garden in still in southwest London, which is where I've lived most of my life. And Carol's very good in design of gardens and so on. So that was a sort of a step up, I started growing courgettes and things in amongst the flowers. But pretty soon the garden was sort of full up with stuff. And living under a flight path, as we are here, only this one was Heathrow, more and more planes, and we decided it was time to move from London and needed a bit of space to really create a proper garden, and about 21 years ago now, we moved to Herefordshire. Found an ancient property with about 5 acres, no garden at all, and we created this garden. Made a lot of mistakes, but we were looking for a sort of romantic type garden, growing lots of roses and lots of clematis and so on. And it's done very well. It's featured on the Chelsea Flower Show. Quite a few television companies have done a bit on it. And we've now written a book about it called Wigmore Abbey, The Treasure of Mortimer. Because the abbey, the ancient abbey we live around was founded by the Mortimer family. Came over with William the Conqueror. Hence the Treasure of Mortimer. So this garden is the Treasure of Mortimer. And we come to shows like this at Tatton Park, so we've got a tenuous link with gardening, and so people are very interested in the book, reading about the history of the place and so on, and we're very proud of it. But of course now we're a bit older, we don't have the energy we had, so now we're wondering how the hell we keep control of it, because it's got pretty rampant, I have to say, but it's a wonderful site this time of year.
How big is it?
Well, we've got 5 acres altogether, but only about an acre and a half is cultivated.
Right.
So the rest of it is sort of ancient pasture and so on. It's a very old part of the world. It's over 800 years old, the building. So we're hoping that it'll continue and live for another 800 years, and someone will look after the garden for us.
Was it in like a bit of a state when you first got there?
Well, there was nothing there at all. It was pretty neglected. The previous incumbent had sort of run into financial trouble, I think, and also a sort of marital problem. So he'd sort of given up.
Right.
And the meadow, the pasture, had sort of crept through right up to the French windows. It was actually growing inside the house in a lot of places. And the wildlife were sitting in the lounge watching television, reading newspapers, So we had to push it back, and it looked a bit sort of naked, right, for a long time. But then, of course, then you have to reproduce it and sort of bring it back. And so that's what we've been doing for 20 years.
How long did you have a garden centre for?
Garden centre only lasts about a year, because my so-called partner did a runner and left me with the debt that we owed to the bank, which of course I hadn't got. So that was a bit of a crisis. But that was back in the 70s.
Right.
So things have improved a bit since then.
Still kept your passion anyway.
Oh yes, no, we've been to see lots and lots of gardens, lots of historic houses and wonderful gardens. And you pick up ideas and make your own version of them. So it's been quite an experience, really.
Do you ever open your garden up, like open gardens, show people around?
No, not now. We have done for about 20 years. Had a lot of architectural groups, garden groups, historical groups, and so on there. But we still got the odd groups around. I mean, the Mortimer History Society, in fact, is very local, you know, and I'm a patron of that, and they're coming around about 150 people, I think. So it's sort of open, but for specialised people, because opening generally to the public is a bit of a problem. We have a bit of a problem with health and safety. Because it's a medieval house, you know, the ground is very uneven, it's dark, you know, inside the house is pretty dark. We don't want to put fluorescent strip lighting in it, you know. And also they're talking about fire escapes, and you're thinking, what a medieval fire escape, you know, it's just hopeless. So we're having a bit of a rethink on all that. But anyway, you know, so people come and see it. You know, people come and see it through English Heritage, sort of walk around the outside of it. You know. The ruined bit, which is on a farmer's land, which is separate from us, it's not entirely ideal, because we live surrounded by a farm, and it's been sold off sort of piecemeal, bits of it over the centuries, and some of it belongs to us and some of it doesn't. So it's quite difficult to organise anybody coming to see the environs of it, you know.
Like a big sport of like hedgehogs, also.
Sport of hedgehogs, yes. I got involved because there was going to be a mass slaughter of hedgehogs on south east. That's one of those islands off the top of Scotland, because they were eating all the birds' eggs and so on. And I sort of got involved in it. I said, this is ridiculous, because we're losing hedgehogs hand over fist in England. So why don't we transport the hedgehogs from there down here? You know, we can give them little passports and things like that, you know. And that's what happened. We got a few people together, and we got them all saved and put around sort of suitable places in England. Since then, I've become sort of a patron of the British Hedgehog Preservation Society, which needs a lot of support, because they're practically an endangered species, which I can't believe. Loss of habitat, different sort of farming techniques and so on. But also, people don't really know about them because they're nocturnal. You don't see them that often. And everybody can help in their garden by not having it too tidy, little piles of logs or leaves, you know, which they like snuffling about in. And also to allow them to travel, because they like to travel. Sometimes a mile a night, but they need to be able to travel through people's gardens, and you can have a little hedgehog archway you can put in your garden, or just cut a hole in the fence. A lot of people say, I never see a hedgehog, and they got a fence all around their garden. That's why they can't get in. So people don't necessarily know that they like to travel, so we're trying to spread all that sort of information, and the sort of food they like. People tend to put down saucers of milk and so on, which is not very good for them, but they don't mind cat food.
Right, yeah.
Mind you, what the cats eat, I don't know after that, you know. It's very difficult balancing this wildlife thing, but it's something we wanted to do in the garden that we created at Wigmore, was to encourage as much wildlife as we can, as many bees and birds and butterflies, you know. And we've certainly succeeded in that, I think.
There we go, everyone. John Chase, thanks for listening to that. I hope you enjoyed it, but I thought I'd add it into this podcast for you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. So, right, let's move back into Chelsea, everyone, and we're really getting around the showground, really getting around it. Once you've been down that other side, once you've done the full circle of the floral marquee, you're then going to head into the artisan gardens. So let's have a little look at them. There's gardens for everyone there, right? And maybe just for me, the artisan gardens would just, I don't know, not for me this year. Nothing massively stood out down there. In fact, I don't know. One of them did. Right, that's a lie. One of them did. But it was a bit messy, I think, perhaps. I think I stood there for a little bit looking at it. Colourful, but messy. as the computer systems decide to crash on me. The Artisan Gardens, I don't know. Perhaps a bit like the show garden. And again, I don't want to take anything away because, gardening is art at the end of the day, and it's art is in the eye of the beholder, as they say. But for me, nothing massively stood out. The Pop Street Garden, colourful. I felt messy. I felt like it was a little bit messy. The Blue Diamond Forge Garden, nice. Again, a little bit. Is it a garden? Maybe you could say a little bit, but it's a little bit on that canal boat journey. Was it a garden? I don't know. I'd probably say not. More of a set, if I'm honest with you. More like a scene, like a scenery than a garden, which I'm not a fan of. If I'm totally honest with you, for some people, it's great. Don't get me wrong. As I said earlier, it's amazing to be able to see that they've built this. It's a show going. It's not in a real thing. It's happened over a couple of weeks. It's going to be disappeared in the next couple of weeks. Be gone. That's impressive in itself. But is it something that I'm going to take away and have an idea from? Maybe not. Maybe not. The guide dog one, again, great story behind it. Am I going to remember it in a few years' time? I don't think so. So I was a little bit disappointed going down that way for the artisan ones. For everyone, there's going to be something different. And that's one of the reasons that I love shows. That's one of the reasons I love it, is because for everyone, there's going to be something great. For me, it's worth going to it for the gardens that I've talked about before. It's amazing for that because it's given me inspiration. It's given me ideas that I can take away. Not every garden is going to give you that idea. Not everyone is going to say, I went to every single garden and got an amazing idea. Doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that I felt like I didn't get much from it. The artisan ones were like that. But as we come up, there was, and I don't know what they're called, and so I apologize for that. They were like houseplant rooms, I think. The best one was the green room. My favourite, and Gemma Collins, apparently, on social media. Our favourite out of them, so colourful. Popping with colour. Popping. I'll try and find it while I'm talking about it. It's just an amazing space. A little bit because, like I say, we don't just have to have these boxes in our back garden that we're going to call an office. We don't just have to have that. We can do something more. Is this it? Here we go. Yeah. The houseplant studios. We can do more with houseplants and plants and jazz it. I love jazzing. The others were great. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some great ones. A great one with a bathroom in it. I really like that. But the one that I love the most, so Forest in Your Home, great. The green room. I mean, just look at it. You can't see it, I know. But just fluorescent, lighting, colour. At one point, there was someone from Drag Race, never seen the programme, but DJing, and the drag gardener was there dancing, and some disco, but it was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy, everyone. Didn't feel very, did it get gold medal? It did. Of course it did. You got to cause a buzz. That's what I'm talking about. I love Chelsea, and things like this, like the green room and the other things that shout a little bit, I love. And I feel like if you do a show going, you've got to shout about it. And, you know, they definitely did that. They definitely stood out from the crowd. You definitely go home and remember this. It's definitely worth going to check these out. And they're just on the way up, just away from the artisan gardens. You're coming back through. Is the plant studios. I really liked them. Now, where's that one with the bathtub? It's not on here. Oh, here it is. Yeah, here we go. The green bathroom retreat. Amazing. I've got a pink bathroom now. And I thought, I need my bathroom to look like this. It's awesome. Really great. So I love that. I love that addition. Houseplants obviously making a big thing in Chelsea this year. Walk on through. Oh, guys, you couldn't see it. Oh, no, hang on. Sorry if you're listening. I just need to show you. You guys can't see it on the screen. It's really great. Can you see it? I'll carry on talking. Hopefully, I'll be able to show you. Housemart's making a big thing. As we walk back round that way, you can go straight into up into the floral marquee. And I don't really go into the floral marquee very often and talking about it. And usually I'm going to these shows because I'm looking for family ideas and kids ideas and stuff like that. What can the family take from it? The biggest thing for me this year was obviously outdoor rooms. I think this show is busting with ideas for outdoor rooms, outdoor space. Obviously, outdoor space is a garden show, but having an outdoor office and not just having the desk in a shed. Do you know what I mean? I'm not just having that. So that's what I loved. Walk through into the floral marquee though this year, and it was good. It was really good. I'm not going to massively go into it because I don't feel like we've got time tonight in tonight's show. But the floristry area, which I don't usually talk about that much, really inspiring. Dried flowers seem to be the big thing at the moment. A lot of people talking about dried flowers. And the houseplant area by, I'm not going to say his name, Daniel Domini or something like that. Friend of the show, sure. I think he got an award for it. Unbelievable, I know. Don't get me wrong, very educational, not as inspiring as is much more of I felt like it was a trade display, but good nonetheless. A lot of information, very educational side of that. Over in that top corner is probably where the most of the fun is. At the back there, you've got the floristry area. Got a massive giant pumpkin as well. Really fantastic. I think his name's Ben White. We chatted to him for a little bit. He's from Malden, just down the road from me. Really fantastic. Really great pumpkin. I love a pumpkin. You're not going to be short of pumpkins this year at RHS Chelsea, that's for sure. And great floristry area. Great saving water area. I felt like that could be a bit bigger. Where there could have been more of a thing of that, or just given a bit of space, get away from that houseplant bit. Some amazing veg from the team. I can't remember the team at Macon, but amazing veg grown, which was impressive. Great pumpkin carving. Crikey, we've got some pumpkin carving to do sometime soon. I was, what else was there? Some amazing tomatoes. I saw some tomatoes. So Mark DeCanio making some tomato juice or something, some sort of cocktail, which was good. And yeah, the usual lot, a little bit more space in there, which is probably a good thing because of COVID. Probably giving it a little bit more space in there, which was nice. And obviously the usual growers in there, that not all of them that you'd usually get, but at least the ones that can give you some great information. And the RHS plant desk as well, which they'll help, advice desk, which they'll help with advice, which was really good as well to have that there. So that was the floor monkey. Back out the other side, get a little bit of food if you want, and then come back around, do a little bit of shopping. A lot of effort have gone into them shops. Oh, I forgot to mention as well, if you come, before you leave that M&G Shogun, leave it. But but as you come through and you're going to go down the artisan cars, I've got to give this a shout out. Friend of the show, Kirsty Ward, you'll see her on Instagram, My Little Allotment. Before you go up there, head towards left, right? What are they called? Muck and Boot, I think. I've got an amazing display where she's been doing bits there. It's for Save the Bees, and obviously Kirsty and everything she does there. I don't know if she's going to be there all week, but go and check it out. It's an amazing garden. Got 5 stars. It's a big up, Kirsty and the team there. I know all the hard work that went into it. Support your social media crew, everyone. We're all rocking out here, giving it our very best. So yeah, go check that out. Big up My Little Allotment for your display. And hey, now I'm going to get this wrong. The Garden Press Rhs Press Garden. Really great display as well. You might have seen her on social media. I met her. I felt really rude. I was like, "Oh, hi," and she goes, "I follow you." I was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I don't really follow people on social now." But amazing display. I hope you have a great week. If you're watching this, I hope you have or listening. I hope you have an amazing week. It's really nice to meet you, and I hope you have a great time at Chelsea, your first one. But loads of the great ones down there, all willing to give you help, advice, and sell you some amazing stuff. That is what Chelsea's good at as well, which I really like. And one of the things I also like about Chelsea is you can order it, it gets delivered. Don't have to take it back on the tube. That's quite handy. That's good, right? Unless you're going on Sunday, good luck with the plant sell-off, everyone. Good luck with that. So, yeah, an amazing day in total. And people keep asking me, and I've seen this a lot. Oh, Chelsea. And I've been one of those people. Oh, Chelsea. Oh, it's full of the elite and champagne drinkers and people in suits. And yes, it is. And I'm very quick, or have been before, to lay in to the world of Chelsea and the RHS. Had they not have already done Hampton, Tatton, Cardiff and Chatsworth, if they come back, if those weren't there, we'd all have the right to go, meh, elite. But let's be clear. Let's be clear. We've got them. For me, I love Chelsea because I feel like a bit. I like it. Would I pay £83? Yeah, I'd pay £83 to get in something like that. I'd save up. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't go every year. But as something to do in your life, I'd go. It's a special thing to be able to do. And I know, it is pricey. £83. It's not like I'll just whip out £83. Yeah, I'll go to it. But it's something special to experience. Would I go to Chelsea? Yeah, 100%. But if you can't, there are them other shows. I'm moaning about the balcony gardens, that they should be smaller. But it is Chelsea. Some of the people that go there do live in £3 to £4 million flats with balconies like that. They might not go to Hampton, probably do as well. So the RHS are catering for everyone. And they ain't making no secret that Chelsea is a bit, posh, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, just because I went, I snuck through the back doors. Doesn't mean it ain't posh. It is. It's champagne drinking. Press day. I didn't drink any champagne, obviously. Don't know what their non-alcoholic menu was like. But, a lot of champagne going about. So, yeah, there is that to it. But if I got the chance, if I could save the money to go to a RHS Chelsea day, would I do it? 100%. Like, this year, would I go to this one? Yeah. There's a lot of inspiration. And tonight, I've just talked about what's inspired me. Some of them, I've like, not good. Don't like them. You might turn around and go, wow, actually, really fantastic. Like, I got so much from that. Just as my own opinion. Do you know what I mean? So my top 5, everyone, on tonight's show. Well, should I say my top 5? Or should we have a bit of Ask Olive? It's not got an intro yet. It's that new. Let's have a bit of Ask Olive. Welcome to a new part of the podcast called Ask Olive, where we ask my 6-year-old daughter, Olive.
Hello.
Different gardening questions. And this week's gardening question is, Olive, what is the RHS Chelsea Flower Show?
It's about lots of flowers and gardens.
And what
you can
what do you think
look at the gardens.
Yes, true.
And maybe there's flowers that are really big and long, and you can maybe there's a bit where you can look at all the flowers there and look at all the flowers and then and you can see what their names are.
Yeah, oh yeah, see the different plant names.
Yeah, their names. So you might not know their name, and you can see what their names are.
What do you think everyone will be wearing at Chelsea?
What?
At the flower show, what do you think they'll wear?
Flowers on them?
A lot of flowers.
Maybe they might have their garden, not their garden, but someone's garden on there.
Do you think kids go to it?
Sometimes.
Would you like to go to it?
I don't really know what it's like yet. I don't know if it's just only for adults. Is it only for adults?
It is only for adults, yeah.
Why?
It's like Hampton Court. Why?
Hmm.
I don't know. Sue Pigs.
What?
Why? You ask her.
What?
Ask Sue Pigs why.
Why?
Anything else you want to say about the Chelsea Flower Show?
No.
Olive, until next week,
Mm.
thanks for being part of Ask Olive. Bye.
Bye.
Ask Olive there, everyone. Each week, we'll be asking Olive a different garden question. If you've got a garden question, put it into the comments now, and I'll ask Olive next week for the show. That's what she thought of RHS Chelsea. She's never been. Sue Biggs. Hey, here we go. Sue Biggs. I'm talking to you. Yeah, hello. Hiya, it's me, Lee. Interviewed you once. Don't matter. I just thought I'd ask. My 6-year-old daughter would love to come to Chelsea. Next May, is it all right if she comes on press day with me? Because it'd be awesome. She'd love to meet. Well, if you could get Mr. Tumble to come as well, that'd be fantastic. I don't know if she likes Mr. Tumble anymore. I'll let you know who she likes. My point is, if you're watching this, she'd love a ticket for next year. So I'd like to come too, obviously. So if that's possible, that'd be great. I don't know. It's not really a kids' show. I get it. But that's what Olive thought about RHS Chelsea, everyone. Right, let's go. Let's end today's show. It's a long one this week, I know. Thanks for listening. With my top 5. The top 5 for me has to be, for me, the balcony gardens. Great concept. Maybe, I don't know, that's just me. I'm thinking should be a little bit smaller. But great concept and some great ideas for small space garden, which I really, really love. Then the green room, a fantastic, vibrant plant studio. Do you know what I mean? Really great idea. The outdoor office doesn't just have to be a shed. They're proving it. Them little plant studios, house plant studios. I love them so much. Some fantastic inspiration. Surprisingly, some of you might be surprised by this. Number 3, the dried flowers, the floristry area. Maybe because I've not massively looked at that before at Chelsea, but amazing stuff going on there. Some real art. At number 4 has to be that one show garden. Really inspiring. Some amazing woodwork going on there. Some amazing design of gardening. And something that just flows really nice. I really feel like I could pick a lot from that for my future ideas. And then finally, on that sanctuary gardens, then ones just before the balcony gardens, has to be the NHS garden. That one with what I call a pergola with a water feature coming down of it. Something real special. Again, I took a lot from that. And probably, and I'm going to say this, you might disagree if you go to the show, the most colourful show garden this year. Again, that could be because of the month we've got it in, September. By the way, I want it to go back to May. I'm one of those people. I'm not one of those guys that say, oh, I quite like it in September. I get to wear I wish I had this coat. Oh, I wear a nice coat. No, Bring it back in May. And don't change it. Don't alternate it. I like it in May. Let's leave it there. Those, everyone, are my top 5 things to go and see at Chelsea this year. Another fantastic year of a show that is changing. I feel it. I feel there's a change in Chelsea. I feel it. And I saw it. And the people that are going, you know, there's definitely a turn of the tide of gardening. Maybe the pandemic's brought that along. Maybe we've got a whole host of new awesome gardeners that want to experience Chelsea, experience the gardening world. And that's brilliant. That, everyone, thanks so much for listening, is my big review. I know, right? I feel like that was no wonder we had no phone calls tonight. It would be about a 5-hour show. That is my big review of RHS Chelsea 2021. I'd love to know what you think. Put it in the comments. Drop me a message on Instagram. Drop me an email if you're one of the designers. I apologize to you guys because I know the work you do, the build team do. I get it. It's just what I feel like I'm defending myself a lot in this episode, but I just want to make it clear that I understand the work that goes into it. I don't want to poo-poo on that because I think you do an amazing job. Thank you to you guys for listening. If you listen on the podcast, thanks so much. Make sure you rate and review 5 stars only. We do record every Thursday at 7 p.m. And next week, you can phone in. If you're coming to Malvern this week, I'd love to see you. Please come and say hello on stage at 12 p.m. every single Saturday and Sunday. Plus, I'm in the family green area. That'll be great. I'll let you know how I got on next week on the show. But for now, everyone, that's it. Thanks so much for listening. You've been great. That's been Chelsea. And I've been Lee Conley. Much love. You're beaming positivity and radiance. You look amazing, mate. What just happened? Hey, mate. Or, right, I love singing, right? So I could be a singer, you could be a backing dancer, band. Oh my God. Oh, I know this. Oh, guys. Right. Oh my God. Oh, right. We're just going to have to go off script for a second. Absolutely idiot proof. Oh my gosh, Danny. Forget it. Get out of here. That was unexpected.